Hey, been talking a lot about feeding your fish, so I thought I'd tell a fun story, one of my favorite stories, about some guys and feeding their fish to help make a point. So, these two guys lived together, roommates. One of them worked from home, the other guy worked a job where he came home on irregular times. He never home at the same time, it could vary quite a bit. But he got into the habit of coming home every day and feeding his fish. But he would come in, make himself a cocktail, go out, sit with the fish, feed the fish. So one day he gets home and his roommate had just made a very fresh cocktail, was sitting there waiting for him when he walked through the door. And so he said thank you and took it out and went out and fed the fish. Next day he gets home, different time, same thing. Fresh cocktail sitting there, just made, goes out, thank you, goes out, feeds the fish. Third day in a row, and this is, I think if I remember correctly, like an hour and a half different time frame that he walked in the house, same exact thing. And he says to his roommate, he says, how is it that you've just made a very fresh cocktail just before I walk through the door? How do you know when I'm going to walk through the door? And the guy says, well, the fish told me. He goes, what are you talking about? He says, well, the fish start reacting a few minutes before you get home. And so I know you're about to come through the door in a few minutes. And so they figured out what was happening was the guy that was coming home, he drove a sports car, had kind of a loud exhaust, or a muffler tone or something about the car. And what would happen was he would come into the neighborhood and he'd get within very close proximity to the back of the home and then have to go around through the neighborhood to get to the front of the house and pull in the driveway and come in. So the fish heard the sports car coming a few minutes before he was able, because he had to go through the neighborhood. So they tipped him off, and they would start reacting knowing that he was going to come in a few minutes and come feed the fish. So the signal that we were talking about and how to feed your fish became the car driving through the neighborhood. The fish knew he was coming. So helps make the point. Fish are super smart. They want to enjoy your company, and so we all got a good laugh out of it. And they thought it was pretty cool and pretty funny, and I thought it was a pretty neat story. I thought I would share it with you. Okay? Until next time, I'm your pond guy.